Noosphere, one mind. Postscript. This postscript addresses the fact that the term noosphere is vague and has no immediate or obvious religious or theological overtones, and while it does rub shoulders with the mystics and the mystical, yet overall, it's a word that gives little away. Should anyone even begin to even be concerned about? It's a dry word. Some say it's the stuff for nerds or those into psychoanalytical endeavor. Say what? This short series has shown it is a biblical phenomenon appearing down through history, and its agenda is not of Christ. This postscript about the word noosphere equals omega point and is summarized as the ultimate one mind. It's a concept important enough and needs to catch the attention of the unwary, the ignorant. Noosphere is a stealth word. The concept of one mind is achieved by stealth. Or is it that men are slow to learn? While unity consciousness and Christ consciousness spiraling nirvana are relative to the omega point, or mind, few care enough to really want to understand what this stuff is about and how it creates a spider web of one mind reasoning. And others say it's yuppie terminology and so is ignored and doesn't get the attention. So why be bothered? Many switch off, even on the subject of related disciplines, such as Eastern mysticism, and few even recognize it yokes itself with the demonology of UFOs. The best way to express this term in a simpler parable or narrative that would be good to explore is one mind. In contradistinction to the unity of John 17. No wonder he who made said end events would deceive, if possible, the very elect. Matthew 24:24. Noosphere can only be defined as one mind. From nous, mind, the terrestrial sphere of thinking, substance. See the link here. Case in point, Babel, Genesis 11:1-9. Let us be one so that we will not be scattered. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly, that they may brick. And they had brick for stone, slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Noosphere, in its original form, there were two concepts. One involved the biosphere and the other theology. Vernadsky defined the noosphere as the new state of the biosphere, described as the planetary sphere of reason. It appears to hark back to the French Revolution in its premise, but the main biblical definition is located at Babel, and the reason was in defiance of being scattered. In both cases, the biosphere was affected. 1, a flood, and 2, the theological oneness of a multitude being the arbiter of its own destiny. This was present in the French Revolution, which equals the reasoning aspect of breaking ties with religion. But the underlying factor was breaking ties with He who made. In the present use of the matter, the biosphere, whether true or false, is undergoing major changes. Some call it global warming, others call it the approach of Nibiru, and claim that the solar system planets are heating up on account of this approaching planet. plagues and pestilence all affect the biosphere. Others claim that when the shift arrives, the sun will send out protons that will involve transformation into a higher reality of those who are ready, while others will be destroyed. Men's hearts will fail for fear, Luke 21:26, on account of the roaring of the waves and the sound of the sea, superstorms, and specific sounds emanating from the ocean. Theological oneness. The theological aspect involves emanationism and the material world and chaos, being a harbinger of the shift in global consciousness from the material world of Maya illusion to the advent of the world of the spirit, which is manifesting, calling all who understand the shift into higher consciousness as the manifest sons of God, noosphere, one mind, higher consciousness. Unity consciousness, especially with the so-called arrival of the latest avatar who will claim to be the father of the planet, since reason, which the goddess of reason, Eve, was used to usher in the rebellion when her husband ate. The shift in consciousness empowered Eve as a tool of the evil one. Later, Babel may have revealed a non-biblical woman named Semiramis, with Nimrod being a man of renown, possibly a giant. Jezebel was a prototype or metaphor of this goddess worship. The French Revolution revealed it, which was the goddess of reason. Do you remember Columbia? See the link. The question of the biosphere in relation to the noosphere involves geology in relation to origin, as in ancient Sumer and the tale of giant kings that reigned for thousands of years is antithetical to the biblical account, since it exalts the men of renown, or giants, Genesis 6, which were the enemies of Israel, being super soldiers. The ET elements affect change in the biosphere. It involves transhumanism in the form of Genesis 6 and in later day abductions of animals. The apocryphal books mention this use of women, men, and animals by the giants. The noosphere is most definitely in relation to Babel and later Zechariah 8:23 and finally Revelation 17:12-16. And the events that transpire when the two witnesses are killed echoes the French Revolution in the form of reason, in the form of a diluted recognition of our so-called divinity from the universe. A world that is tired of the gospel will ignore the fulfillment of the Kairoi, or times of the Gentiles, of Luke 21:24, and as a result will miss the message of the first angel's warning, which is all about the everlasting gospel and everlasting righteousness and eternal divinity of he who made. Revelation 13:8-9. What happened recently in Miami? Alien shape shifting in the mall. Here is the link. Whether true or false, whether by technology, etc., is irrelevant. The powers that be have received their marching orders in the form of the mysterious trip to Down Under, Antarctica, and rumor of Buzz Aldrin. We are in danger if it is evil itself here, in reference to great evil coming from that place. See bottomless pit, Revelation 9. In the coming final noosphere, they will worship the dragon as well as the beast. Revelation 13, and then finally, there cometh the three unclean spirits like frogs issuing from the three, namely the dragon, the beast, and the miracle-working false prophet. Noosphere. Yeah, a dry word, hard word, in concept and not an interesting word at all, right? Some say difficult to understand. Really? Fact is, the Kairoi of the nations has passed a generation ago. Whether we like it or not, agree or disagree, the time of the final noosphere is nigh the convergence of global unity, the omega point, the one mind with the beast. The unity consciousness of one mind concept is alluring, agreeable, and apparently sensible reasoning, yet entirely antithetical to he who made. Should we take pains to pay attention to its derision of the first angel's warning? Yes. Be careful to take time to review the Noosphere series and recognize the signs that the blending and trickery of the theological oneness and the effects on the biosphere is transpiring in a subtle manner. But why be bothered? Why? He who made unseals the seven seals, Revelation 6, and the seven trumpets, Revelation 8. Revelation 6 and 8 are God's initial response to the one mind of the beast, whose doctrine is let us be one so that we will not be scattered. And yes, God's response is upon the biosphere, described as three woes. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. And what is God's final response to the noosphere? Yeah, the seven last plagues, Revelation 16.